Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about McBoss. DoorDash overload leaves McDonald's in shambles until one customer steps up and locks in. So we all know that there is sometimes a challenge just getting the attention of some of the people that work there. And while some of these establishments end up making TikToks about how we are the impatient ones, now there are customers literally just tired of the lies and the nonsense that a lot of these restaurants tend to pull, and is now literally picking up the slack of the piss poor integrity and character that is some of these restaurants. But this has led to a lot of controversy on the subject between customers, viewers on TikTok who saw the video, DoorDash drivers, and the McDonald's staff. So in this video, we are going to go over everything that's being said in this article, how it actually is for all the parties we just listed off, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market to market and case by case. What applies to me in my market or in her market or any of the markets mentioned throughout this video may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. A McDonald's in disarray turned into a lesson in leadership when a customer in a cozy cardigan stepped up to manage the chaos. It's not unheard of for a customer or somebody to step up in the event that a restaurant can't keep up. Like, there have actually been times where if I have had to contact DoorDash for them through the merchant line to specifically help them with like any tablet issues they had, and I was just doing that out of a courtesy. But that was in New York and that was a different time. This is based on a real issue that has been happening in the gig economy today. In a TikTok posted by Styled by Moon KK on October 12th, the understaffed restaurant was visibly overwhelmed by a flood of DoorDash orders until one woman took charge, calling out numbers and telling those who were still waiting to step aside, babe, before asking the next customer for their 3-digit number. Styled by Moon KK wrote in an on-screen text, "McDonald's is so understaffed, the customers in here are passing out the orders." I'm going to leave our TikTok as well as her profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. I really hope that this is based on something she has experience on, because while I do commend her for stepping up where the people who actually work there chose not to, it is a point to where you gotta have somebody that knows what they're doing. You gotta have somebody that actively understands that, hey, there is still theft in the gig economy. There is still people who are bad actors. You may be the best actor, but they may still have bad actors. I'm sure she does. I'm sure that's why she ended up stepping up, but nevertheless, that's a concern that I have. The clip racked up 3.9 million views and over 10,000 comments. While some commenters wrote that the woman's bold initiative was rude or bossy, others called her a hero and a leader. The things you do for content, huh? I'm going to tell you this. If anybody calls her initiative rude or bossy, they're probably among the employees that don't do their jobs. Like, that is not the same thing here. Like, sure, she's probably a little bit more forward than the rest of them, but nevertheless. Many pointed out that the scene at McDonald's represented a vision of community held together by people who support one another as they keep going when the going gets tough. That's how society is supposed to be. Everyone helping everybody just to get stuff done. If only the world actually worked that way. Unfortunately, this is the part of our society that's been falling apart, especially with our economic situation. The problem is that a lot of these bigger corporations, these businesses as a whole, can absolutely utilize this as a way to get free labor. And that, I assume, is probably one of the challenges that a lot of people are going to point out. But nevertheless, that's how society was, not how society is. I don't think we could get along with each other like that anymore. She's a teacher, manager, or has about 10 kids. Oh, wow. That is that fits so well. In fact, let me know in the comments what you think her occupation is. I'm guessing teacher or manager as well. This is somebody who probably is overworked, underpaid, has to deal with a lot of people who don't do their job anyway. They're the ones who have to step up half the time. In fact, I'm actually going to push this one level further. I bet they're the employee who's always doing the right thing at work, but is grossly underpaid for it. Meanwhile, the people that are paid more are actually the laziest shitheads you'll ever meet. You might as well gone and clock in. Yeah, you see, this is exactly why I would be like, yeah, this is a way for them to get free labor at the end of the day. You're basically telling McDonald's that instead of paying for more staff and making sure you have the staffing requirements necessary and managing that McDonald's properly, there is always going to be people who are going to step up and do your job for you. Another thing that I'm also wondering is that if she is a manager, is she also a manager of a restaurant or a McDonald's? And that's why they're just letting them be okay with doing what they're doing? That's also a possibility. When capitalism breaks down, community picks up. Due to ongoing labor shortages in the food industry, many McDonald's locations are understaffed by overworked employees. McDonald's employees reacting to @StyleByMonk's post expressed appreciation for customers like the woman in the cardigan. The clip demonstrated that customers at busy restaurants don't have to make a difficult situation worse by acting entitled and demanding. They can recognize that employees are only human and help out. As somebody who works in a freshly opened and understaffed McDonald's, I appreciate this. These places are understaffed but don't hire anybody. Shake my head. Okay, but that's not entirely true either. I have been the DoorDash driver to step up and say, hey, if you guys are a little overstaffed, can we hand them out?
No one's allowed behind the counter.
Like, pick a lane. Do you want somebody to step up and help you in times of need? Or do you want to actually be on your shit and do your job? If you want us to wait for you, you gotta be okay with people being demanding or impatient when you choose to ignore them over and over again. I guarantee you, here's another prediction. This person is probably underpaid at work, which led to her being a driver and stepping up for that reason. But because she's a driver stepping up for that reason, because she's also a DoorDash driver, she's also making money, she's the one handing out all those orders. The employees who would normally be all up in her face about it don't care anymore. Like, they're at the point to where they're like, yeah, you know, maybe I'm not here for this. Some commenters argued that McDonald's should address the staffing issues instead of burning out their employees and relying on customers to pick up the slack, despite other commenters' praise heaped on the woman in the cardigan. One wary TikTok user warned against customers acting as unpaid employees. Bro, don't give corporations any ideas. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to tell them through your actions that you're going to pick up the slack where they choose not to do their job or not do their job effectively, because if they don't have to do their job effectively, you will. This is why you see so many people in management positions or ownership positions and they're fucking useless, because they know that if they don't, you will. And I'm just not here for that. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. Honestly, I can't blame this woman for her choice. Actually speaking, she is most likely a really kind-hearted person, probably somebody who is in a leadership position, probably somebody who's empathetic normally, probably in a underpaid management position of some kind, whether that's in a restaurant or as a teacher with a bunch of kids. And she is a DoorDash driver in such a way to where she basically understands the system and is handing out the orders while she's waiting for her own. Because quite frankly, people like this are too normal. Restaurants like this who pull this shit are too normal. The only thing I would say is that I agree with that last commenter. Don't give restaurants any ideas about how to utilize understaffing their restaurants as a tool to force you to do their job for them. Because you know that's going to lead to? That's going to lead to a lot of restaurant workers being overworked and underpaid. You're going to have more theft in the gig economy because you're going to see people who try to step up like this or seem like they're stepping up like this. They're going to do a bad job or intentionally have orders stolen and be like, hey, you here for this person? Here, I got you this. Not like checking to see if they're them or anything of that nature. This was a good step towards what could unfortunately be a slippery slope. Good on her in the moment, bad on what could be something enticing for the corporate greed in this country. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out my website, drivenwyld.com, if you would like to learn more about some of the nuances that happen in the gig economy today, as well as other services and opportunities we have in the gig economy. Also, if you guys would like to stay in the know of what's happening in the gig economy today, make sure to check out my new channel, the Gone Wild Live Clips of Podcast, where we take the live streams we hold on Thursdays at 9 p.m., cut them down to more digestible clips, and have them posted there. Also, check out my Patreon for more exclusive content and clips and live streams that we can't post on YouTube, as well as other tools and resources for self-employed individuals such as yourself. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching.